to Let's Talk Sports here on WILN. I'm your host, Marty Burns. Once again this week we have Joe Flanagan joining us. We know him from WILN Sports, whether it's covering our high school basketball, baseball. Also did some stuff for us on the sidelines in football season, but we also know him at MMI. We've had him on as junior high baseball coach and head boys varsity basketball coach. And now we have Joe on. You'll find out right after this.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander Mazda, Greater Hazleton. Come check this out. It's the season of discovery. 2021 Mazda CX-30s, got them. 2021 Mazda CX-5s, got them too. 2021 Mazda CX-9, got them. 2021 Mazda CX-30 for 0.9% for 63 months. 2021 Mazda CX-5, 0.9% financing for 63 months. Blaze Alexander Mazda Greater Hazleton has inventory. Check them out at blazemazdahazelton.com.
Physical Therapy and Balance Centers. It's spelled different because we are different. Physical is unlike any therapy center you've been to before. If you're tired of living in pain, if you want to move better, overcome an injury or balance disorder, or you just want to improve your strength and conditioning, our highly skilled team of medical experts will help you get back to living the life you enjoy. New mentality, new body, new life. Get physical.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet trap and sporting clay fields are professionally designed and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-455-4251 extension 1378 for more information.
Follow us on our weekly journeys through the backstories of those paving NEPA toward a better future.
Each night we'll dig a little deeper into the lives and goals of our local leaders. So stay tuned for the end of our news as we learn more of those leading the way.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports here on WILN. I'm your host, Marty Burns. Once again, we have on this week Joe Flanagan, and we've teased it long enough. Joe Flanagan representing MMI. Earlier this month, he was introduced as the new athletic director at MMI. So, Joe, from all of us here at WILN, congratulations on your new position.
Thanks, Marty. It's an honor to fulfill a seat that not many people have done in the past, and looking forward to the challenges it's going to bring.
Now, in the newspaper article in the release mentioning your hire as athletic director, they had talked about 17 years at MMI as head boys basketball coach, and I got our ace stat guy on it, Jim Burns, and we were compiling. We figure you're probably the second longest tenured coach in Wyoming Valley Conference boys basketball. Probably the only one that's been at his school longer is our good friend Crestwood head coach Mark Atherton. Yeah. The only other one we were thinking maybe might have been Coach Toole if you combine Myers and Wilkes-Barre area, but we think that you were at MMI before Coach Toole.
I think a year before Coach Toole. I think I was, but that's a long time ago. And notice what they don't put when they say my 17 years. They never put my record. So I know I'm just going to nip that in the butt now. It's coaching basketball for 17 years and plus 13 years before that at the junior high level. I've been blessed to coach some A, great basketball players, B, just great people, great kids, and just an honor to coach at a school like MMI and Freeland Elementary Middle School.
Now there's some district championships that people can sort of forget wins and losses with.
Yes, yeah, a couple, and us being as small as we are, and that's, I never use that as an excuse, but it's some of the seasons were tough, But every year we've seemed to build on something, build on something, build on something, and that's really all we can do.
Now, we mentioned 17 years at MMI. Now you take on the role of athletic director, and I know we kid a lot, and I don't know how I can phrase this without making it sound that I'm busting on you. I'm actually being serious. 17 years, and then you're going to take on the athletic director position. What is it about MMI that you keep going back?
Oh, now, you know, the main thing with MMI that I really, really enjoy is just the quality of kids you work with. And, you know, and I think that's for every school in our area, have some great quality kids. But for MMI, you know, the place that gave me a chance as a 32-year-old coach that, you know, no one knew who I was, you know, other than a junior high coach. That's why, and that quality and that family type atmosphere in the school.
Man, between you and Coach Atherton, you keep bringing up ages and years. I'm feeling really old.
I tell it that like when you someone else brought that up to me about you and Coach Atherton being the longest tenured. I'm like, wow, that is a scary, scary thought. But yeah, you know, honored really that, you know, I've been able to stay in coaching that long.
Now I'm going to joke with you a little bit. When athletic director Joe Flanagan sits down and looks over his list of coaches and everything, what does athletic director Flanagan think of Coach Flanagan?
Oh, well, he's going to be very critical of him the last couple of years. No, you know, it's one of the questions, you know, that we talked about through the interview process and all that. You know, two things that I have to work on personally is, hey, I have to forget about officials sometimes. I get worked up with officials too easy. And second thing, I need to do a better job evaluating our talent better and putting in the right pieces to the puzzle. They're the two things I try to look at every year.
But let's get to athletic director. And I don't see you as being one of those that we're going to go and reinvent the wheel here. But what is the goal for MMI athletics now that you're athletic director?
Well, and I think you know you're going to see one of the goals is what our baseball team did this year. You know, really when we get into our A competition level, is really compete at a real high level locally, and then hopefully get in the states. And you never know what happened. That's the first goal. Second goal, we want to give as many kids the opportunity to play a high school PIAA level sport, varsity level sport as we can. And, you know, if there's 220 kids in the school, I would love to say we have 220 kids participating. That, you know, that's a high goal, but I would love to see that. And lastly, just really give the school an identity in their athletic program. So that's really the three things I think I'm going to work on.
And you mentioned the baseball team, and I think we'll get to the athletes maybe in the next segment. But a lot of great coaches. You know, a guy like Ryan Yastrzemski, who started with you as an assistant on your basketball program. What did you see in Ryan that, A, you brought him onto your basketball program many years ago, and then you went and helped him with the baseball program. What do you see in him as a coach of not only your baseball team, but your golf program as well?
This is a very long story that I'll try to make as short as I could. I knew Ryan before Ryan knew Ryan. His mom was my teacher while she was pregnant with Ryan, so I've known Ryan a long time. Ryan was on my first junior high basketball team at Freeland. So I've known Ryan a long time. And then as coming up, he started volunteering at the Freeland Y, reffing games, coaching. And, you know, I brought him along with me in that. Because of that, I started helping him with Little League. And when he got the varsity coaching job for baseball at MMI, he said, why don't you take the junior high baseball job? I sort of did. And, you know, we have a great relationship working with each other, and looking forward to keeping that going.
The only thing that concerns me about Coach Yastrzemski with his golf program, I think he's taking a lot of scouting tips from the dynamic duo of Jack Yastrzemski and Tom Corral, who are tearing up the links all over Northeast PA.
Tearing up.
Definitely tearing up, and that's a concern. But the other thing with mentioning Ryan's dad, Jack, I don't know, does he still talk to you? Because he doesn't really talk to me after that time we stuck him with Coach Thomas on the golf cart.
Well, he talks to me now. He's not mad at us anymore. But yeah, when they got lost on the country club, that was one of the more comical things. But we do, and you know, that was one of the neat things with the baseball team, to see two fathers and sons George Laputka and his son and Ryan and his dad really be a part of that team, the coaching staff. It was just a special run for that group.
And we had Coach Yastrzemski on a couple weeks ago, talked about the district championship. You've also had success in volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the golf program has had success. The softball team has had success through the years in different portions. So what do you foresee when you, and maybe you answered this already in the previous question, but when you put all these sports together for MMI?
Well, again, like we talked about, let's get a lot of kids playing sports. But what I see is one of the dynamics that has changed. There's not a lot of small schools around.
Right.
So, we always have to be willing to change and update what we're doing, So, who are we going to play? That kind of stuff, because the smaller the Wyoming Valley Conference gets, there's league, our league, sometimes we're the only A team in the whole district.
Right.
So, and not only the Wyoming Valley Conference, the district. So that's difficult. But we're hopefully to get some plans together to keep us competitive and get us in playoffs, at least to get those playoff runs where we're with our size school.
I've browbeaten you enough.
Okay.
We'll give you a little bit of a break here. We're going to take a time out, be back to talk about some of the great athletes that are currently at MMI as Let's Talk Sports continues with new athletic director at MMI, our very own Joe Flanagan.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
What's on TV? Plenty. WYLN TV 35, the best in local programming.
Skin tags are embarrassing, uncomfortable, and pop up everywhere. Well, now you can put an end to those ugly skin tags and remove them at home with Hempana N-Tag, the revolutionary skin tag remover. Simply brush it on and the skin tags fade away and fall off and stay off while the surrounding area stays nice and smooth. N-Tag works for all skin types and is gentle enough for sensitive areas, including your face and neck. And Hempana N-Tag is enriched with hemp seed oil for added moisture, plus all natural turmeric and aloe. So stop living with ugly, embarrassing skin tags. Get Hempana N-Tag with over 50 applications for only $29.99. But when you order now, you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee, and we'll give you a full money-back guarantee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Order now.
Call 1-800-331-1639. Call or visit getntag.com. So call 1-800-331-1639. Order now.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports here on WILN. Pleased to have joining us this week our good friend Joe Flanagan, recently named new athletic director at MMI, and he will also stay on as boys head basketball coach for the Preppers. And leads me into my first question, Joe. Come that winter season, you're going to be a very busy guy juggling athletic director and basketball coach. Have you come up with maybe some kind of plan for yourself just yet?
Yeah, a little bit. Not anything official yet, but how we're going to do it, how we're going to manage it is in the talking stages. So yeah, we'll be ready to go. It'll be nice. I'll be actually in the school for the first time in the school, right. So I could, I'll have my kids right after school or immediately after. I won't be running from another job. So that's one of the benefits. The issues are, the cancellations. And when, we're at an away game, who's going to take care of the gym at home if there's a home game. So there are just some little housekeeping things that we need to do, but really looking forward to get coaching. I really, you don't realize how much you missed it till you walk back in the gym. And I walked back in the gym last week and I'm like, I feel like I'm home again.
Yeah. We'll get back to your team real quick, but remember, when you get a request to televise from WILN, whatever that date is, just flip to your calendar and just mark it snow day.
Canceled,
Yeah.
right?
Perfect. But you brought up a point that I really didn't think about. Your previous 17 years, as you mentioned, you're not in the school. MMI is grade driven. You have to make the grade to play the sport, and I'm sure through all your years, you're like, hey guys, you got these finals coming up, or whatever's coming up. Hit the books, let's make the grade, and we don't have something to worry about. Is it now maybe an advantage where, now being in the school, maybe you pass somebody in the hall and say, hey, let's get that math up, or whatever, where maybe you don't have that with not being in the school?
Yeah, as not being on the faculty, and they were really great for a non-faculty coach. I mean, treated me great with all the respect, but now I'll have a little more access to, hey, who's doing bad, who's doing on, who's screwing around in school. And I'm not quite sure the basketball players are quite ready for that. But, I know I'm looking forward to seeing the kids daily. And, when you get into coaching, your biggest thrill is watch that ninth grader grow into a man. You know what I mean? Or a woman, depending on what you're coaching. But to see that child grow up is really the highlight of it.
And we had Coach Petrone on a couple of weeks ago, talked about how Coach Bookman is influxing history of Hazleton area football. Is that one of the things for MMI that maybe some of these kids need to know, the history of MMI sports, the success, when you go back to the 70s in basketball?
Sure.
Your district championships, the baseball team district championships, wherever you had district championships. And then the names like Lundy, Brazo, young man you coach, Bresnitsky, to bring the history, and that's just basketball, but so many sports at MMI that you can intertwine to these student athletes, the history at MMI.
And the history is important, the history of the wins and losses, and and how well this player was and how good this player played. But to me, one of the neatest things as that older coach, probably once a month I'll see a player that I coach that I haven't seen in years. And we'll come and we'll just talk about the funny stuff that happened. But that's so important. And I always try to bring an ex-player back on my staff. Someone, it's hard. It's not as easy as you think.
Right.
But just to keep them. Hey, he knows he's been where you are, so it's a valuable teaching tool.
And like, say, a young man, we talked about him during the Little League, like Eddie Herbner. When they have the success outside of MMI at that next level, is that also something that, hey, you can do both? You can, you can let sports help build you a bridge to whatever school you're looking to go to, but then you can also succeed at that school.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things that I hear a lot of people that recruit our students they love that the grade aspects of it is taken care of. And that's great. And you talk to any player who went on to play that next level, mostly the reason they got into that school was their academic work. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have to worry about that kid being a so-so student.
And one of the shames we didn't get to see your team play this year because of the COVID, but at MMI, a kid like Marcus Stanchison, who I think you can argue one of the best pitchers in our area. You know, everybody talked about that great group at Hazleton area, and rightfully so, not to take anything away from him. But Marcus was an outstanding pitcher in this area as well. Just an example of great talent currently at MMA. Now, granted, he's going to be he already graduated, but there's also talent coming up. I know a freshman, Nolasco, was on the MMI team that helped Coach Yastrzemski to that district championship. When I got to see you at the junior high level, you see there's talent. And, you know, you read the paper with different MMI athletes, no matter what the sport be, and you keep seeing the same names excelling in whatever sport it may be. There is talent. There are athletes at MMI that I don't think people really realize.
No, and that's the hardest part about selling kids on MMI is, hey, you know, we have athletics too, you know, schools first, as it should be in every school. But, you know, when we're talking about it, yeah, you could flourish as an athlete in MMI, and we have some of the best athletes in our area. And, you know, sometimes we lack a little depth in numbers, which hurts us. But other than that, as far as, like you said, Danchinson, and we've talked to other baseball people around, they said he's as good, if not better, than any pitcher they saw. A couple umpires told us that. So, you know, you're right. And, you know, when I had Corey Rogers or when Eddie Herbner played or those guys, and, you know, when Philip Byrell, you know, was there, you know, they were as good as players as they were in the state, you know, at the AAA level. So, you know, Eddie Herbner he was on the Bloomsburg PSAC championship team, you know. So there's a kid who played 4 or 5 years of college baseball that graduated from MMI.
And I think that can lead into it. I always remember when Coach Curry was at Berwick, and he used to have the pictures up of his former players where they went to school in their college uniforms, and just have it be as like an example of you know, what you can do at that next level, that next step. And in getting these kids to that next step, is there a particular thought in mind for the athletic department to try to get these schools in, or just get them to look at some of these student athletes?
Well, a lot of times what happens is you get recruited by somebody that's looking at another player.
Right.
You know, and, you know, a classic example is when Tyler Brzezinski got recruited to play at Wilkes. He was off the radar. Well, he came in and played against a guard from Nanticoke that, you know, he scored 40 points that night, and he no longer was recruited. They went to Brzezinski. So a lot of that happens. Recruiting for college athletics has changed a little bit. It's not so much about high school sports anymore. It's about travel ball or AAU.
Right.
So the high school coaches don't have as much, I don't want to say, but they're not involved in the process as much as they were 10 years ago. But schools that recruit well will always include the high school coach.
Right. And I guess to go back to Danchinson, what you can do as an athletic director is pump out those stats. I thought the most impressive, and I don't have it with me, but I mentioned with Coach Yastrzemski, was 10 walks to something like 130 strikeouts.
Yeah, he was like 13-1.
How often did we talk about in those little league games, throw strikes? Well, there's an example of a kid that succeeded throwing strikes. And, you know, if you get, I don't care what level you're on, you throw strikes like that, you're going to succeed.
Strike one is the most effective pitch in baseball, right? But you're right, Marty. And just having coaches that could really teach the fundamentals of that, and hey, get strike one and work from there, and really have programs that could cultivate all that the athleticism that we have, but also put enough around that player to be competitive.
And I think we've been there, even though we talk about how old we are, that it was so long ago. You know, we remember back in the day, hey, could we play or go to such and such a school? Or could one of our teammates or good friends go to such and such a school and be able to play in that? When you start to see this parade of MMI athletes that signs letters of intents to all these various schools, whether it's around the area or you know, you move out of state or whatever, that to these younger student athletes, hey, maybe I can.
Yeah, no, and that's important. Just to see that it can be done, that's the hardest thing. You know, one of the hardest things players can't see is to visualize that hey, I could see that really happening now. I could go there and make this happen, and that's important.
Well, Joe, we've grilled you again, so we're going to take a break. Be back to wrap it up with new athletic director at MMI, Joe Flanagan, right after this.
guys, this is Ray Merrill from Blaze Alexander Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. How about that cheesy sign? If you get close enough, you can see it. But if you pass by Airport Road, we have a ton of inventory. Whether you're looking for a Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram, we have them all. Get a new Ram truck during the Make It the Summer event. So if you're looking for a new car or a used car, come to Blaze Alexander Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram here on Airport Road in Greater Hazleton, and you'll find out why we take the deals the other guys won't.
Everybody has a flashlight, but can your flashlight do this? The Bell & Howell Tactical Flashlight can. The Bell & Howell Tac Light can do things no ordinary flashlight can do. Look, this civilian flashlight puts out pathetic light, but our military-grade Tac Light, that's 22 times as bright. It's so bright, it can be seen up to 2 nautical miles away. Only a Tac Light has a super bright strobe that can stun and disorient would-be attackers. A car battery will stop working in sub-zero temperatures, but even getting frozen in a block of ice couldn't make our Tac Light stop working. It's tough enough to survive getting run over by a Humvee. Try that with a regular flashlight.
You can get a Bell & Howell Tac Light complete with a lifetime guarantee for just $19.99 plus free shipping. And while supplies last, you can even get a second one. Just pay a separate fee.
To order, call 1-800-371-0080. That's 1-800-371-0080 or go to trytaclight.com.
Go hog wild for Iron Pigs Baseball. WYLN is televising the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs live. America's favorite pastime on your local network, WYLN TV 35. See the Stars of Tomorrow at Coca-Cola Park. Don't miss any of the games here on WYLN TV 35. Visit WYLNTV.com for a complete Iron Pigs schedule. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs on WYLN, your home for live sports.
Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the midday WYLN News update, posted between noon and 2 p.m. Tomorrow's care starts today with Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton, your ER partner.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports here on WYLN with new athletic director at MMI, Joe Flanagan. And Joe, about 2.5 minutes left. It seems, and I guess we could tie it in with the success we had in the spring and your season in winter. What are you looking forward to at the fall sports season?
Well, Marty, it was great. I met with 2 or 3 of the coaches today. Just getting ready for hey, what are we going to need to do? What do we do? What do you need coming off of COVID? Because some of these people haven't had games in 2 years. Mm-hmm. What's your equipment like going through that? So I'm looking forward to that. The soccer coach is real excited. We have cross country coming up. Like you said, Coach Jastrzemski doing golf and tennis. Is it girls tennis is now? So those sports kicking off, and hopefully those sports could kick off without any of a problem. And looking forward to giving kids that opportunity.
I know you want to give some thanks before we go, but real quick, you mentioned soccer. How about those great athletic fields that MMI put up years ago? That soccer field and then across the road, the baseball and softball fields.
No, and that's one of the things. If we forgot to say anything, not only do I think we have great coaches, we have some of the best athletic complexes, not only in the area for A schools, but for anybody. Our soccer field, our softball field, baseball field, gymnasium, and it's so well taken care of by really a skeleton crew of people. And, we do have great facilities to play at.
Not a lot of pressure, but 30 seconds, give your thanks.
Okay. Hey, I just want to give a shout out to the YMCAs, the Freeland Y, the Bloomsburg Y, that gave me a background in being able to be an athletic director. I really appreciate all the time in that mission-driven YMCA. Thanks for everything. Thanks to all the board of directors that have believed in me and gave me that, and the communities that have backed me, and I'll never forget it.
Congratulations, buddy. I know you'll do well. For Joe Flanagan, I'm Marty Burns saying so long. We'll see you next week on Let's Talk Sports.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.